This video, created by the University of Missouri Agricultural Business and Policy Extension Program, provides introductory information on cash leases. Over the last several decades, more and more land leases have moved from crop share agreements to cash leases. A fixed cash lease is one where the tenant pays the property owner a fixed amount of money to use an asset for a specified time period. The property owner contributes only the asset being leased. Property owners like cash leases because they provide a certain level of income without requiring a lot of involvement in the farming activities. A cash lease is considered low risk to the property owner because it provides a specific level of income. But, usually, reward increases with risk assumed. A cash lease might provide lower income over time than a crop share lease. A cash lease has tax implications for the property owner. A cash rental payment, less taxes, interest paid, insurance, and a few limited qualified deductions, will be considered investment income. Fixed cash rental payments are not subject to self-employment taxes. If a property owner is retired, cash rental income does not count against Social Security income limitations. The cash lease also affects the property owner's involvement in USDA programs. With a fixed cash rental agreement, the tenant is assigned 100% of USDA program benefits, such as disaster payments. Tenants like the simplicity of fixed cash rental agreements. Cash rents make it easier for a tenant to lease from multiple property owners. The tenant receives all profit from higher production and is free to make production decisions with less oversight from the property owners. The tenant is on the opposite side of the risk-return principle than the property owner. The tenant takes on more risk by having definite cash expenses associated with production, but not having guaranteed income from those expenses. A cash lease is expected to provide more income to a tenant over time, but there may be bad years in which the tenant loses money. A fixed cash lease requires negotiation between the property owner and tenant. The lease is not complete until each person understands what each is offering and what each has responsibility for. The big question when finalizing a fixed cash lease is determining the fixed cash payment terms. Cash payment can be a single payment at the beginning of the production cycle, say March 1st. Or several cash payments can be made throughout the production cycle, say March 1st and November 1st. Many property owners prefer rent up front because that assures they get the rental payment. They may be willing to take a lower total payment, knowing they receive the entire rental payment up front. The tenant would benefit from payments made throughout the year at times when he has more cash on hand from selling last year's crops. If the entire rent is due at the beginning, the tenant may have to rely more on borrowed money to make the payment, resulting in more interest expenses. Several methods exist for establishing a cash rental amount. Three common methods are using published cash rental rates, soliciting bids, and calculating the contribution of each party. Published rental rates should be used cautiously. They report the average rent paid for property over a broad geographic area and do not reflect all the qualities of the specific land being leased. They provide insight into trends, but not specific rental values. Receiving bids for rental property is likely to result in the highest rental payment. But rental payment is not the only important factor in a rental agreement. A property owner should follow up the bidding process with interviews of the possible tenants to see which are most likely to meet her objectives. Calculating the relative contribution of both property owner and tenant provides the most information for coming to a satisfactory lease agreement. The calculation method will be covered in another presentation. Your regional extension specialist can provide more information on cash leases. aglease101.org provides an educational guide and sample lease form for cash rental agreements.